Hi, I'm Emily Chin, and this is the story of how I learned that sometimes the deepest betrayals come disguised as family loyalty. 10 years ago, I built Meditech Solutions from my garage into a $100 million healthcare technology company. I never imagined that saving my sister-in-law's life would nearly cost me everything I built. Or at least that's what my brother thought. The sacrifice. 5 years ago, I was in my office reviewing quarterly reports when my brother, Marcus, burst in, tears streaming down his face. His wife, Sarah, was dying. Her kidneys were failing and she needed a transplant urgently. Without hesitation, I got tested. We were a match. You don't have to do this, my mom pleaded. The surgery, the recovery, what about your company? But my mind was made up. Sarah was family and family came first. The surgery was successful. I gave Sarah my kidney and she got a second chance at life. Recovery, however, was brutal. For 3 months, I worked from my hospital bed and then from home, running Meditech through video calls and late-night emails. Marcus often visited with flowers and gratitude. "You saved our family. I'll never forget this," he would say. And he didn't forget, just not in the way I expected. The slow betrayal. As I recovered, Marcus grew more involved in the company. He started dropping by my office asking about finances, operations, board members. I thought he was just trying to help while I regained my strength. Sarah even joined the HR department, my idea to give her purpose after surgery. Meditech thrived. Our healthcare software was adopted nationwide. We were innovating, expanding, winning. But with growth came cracks I didn't see forming. Marcus began sitting in on board meetings supposedly as my advisor. He had an MBA from Harvard after all. "Let me handle things, he'd say. "You need to rest. Doctor's orders." Gradually, decisions started happening when I wasn't present, during my medical checkups or over drinks I couldn't have because of my restricted diet. Marcus became the face of Meditech at industry events while I focused on healing. I should have noticed the whispers that stopped when I walked into a room. The sympathetic looks from my assistant. The way Sarah avoided my eyes. The ambush. The betrayal became clear on the night of our 10th anniversary gala. I had planned a small gathering, but Marcus turned it into a glittering event at the city's most expensive hotel. I spent weeks preparing my founder's speech. That night, the ballroom was packed with investors and industry leaders. Marcus stepped up to the podium and I smiled, expecting an introduction. Instead, his voice boomed. "However, times change and so must leadership. Since my sister's kidney donation, her health has declined. Her medical appointments and physical limitations are impacting Meditech's operations." My blood ran cold. "The board and I have discussed this at length," Marcus continued. "It's time for Meditech to enter a new era, under leadership not compromised by health issues or outdated management styles. Emily, you're too weak to lead. It's time to step down." The board, people I had hired, mentored, trusted, nodded. Some even smiled. Sarah sat by his side, wearing the designer watch I had given her after her recovery. I rose slowly, walked to the podium and placed my speech down. "Congratulations, Marcus. I hope you know what you're doing." Then I left. In my car, my hand brushed against the scar on my side, a permanent reminder of what I had given. But Marcus had forgotten something crucial. I hadn't built a $100 million company without learning how to protect it. The next morning, I arrived at the office before dawn. When Marcus and Sarah swaggered in, expecting me gone, I was waiting. "Emily." Marcus sneered. "What are you doing here? I thought you'd have the dignity to stay home." "Actually, I've never felt better," I said, leading them into the conference room. On the screen behind me, company documents appeared. When I founded Meditech, I created a dual-class share system. The shares you and the board control? Class B limited voting power. The Class A shares holding supermajority control are in a private trust. My trust. And it specifically forbids leadership removal based on medical conditions. Marcus's face paled. I continued, pulling up another document. "And that software generating 80% of our revenue? It's not owned by Meditech. It's licensed through my holding company, MTech Innovations. Our top developers? They're employed by MTech too. Oh, and our client contracts? They have a key person clause. Me. If I'm removed, they can terminate without penalty. Many already emailed me last night. They're leaving if I go." Sarah clutched the back of her chair, her voice shaking. "Emily, please. Think about the family. I smiled coldly. I am. The lesson. Marcus thought he had won. But by the time the board realized what I had done, it was too late. Sometimes the people you underestimate are the ones you should fear the most. And Marcus? He was about to learn that lesson the hard way. Family? Like how you thought about family last night, Sarah. When you sat there silently, letting your husband try to steal the company I built. When you used my kidney donation as a weapon against me. The room fell silent. Through the glass walls I could see employees gathering. Whispers spread as they checked their emails. Marcus frantically scrolled through his phone, no doubt seeing Meditech's stock price already plummeting as the news spread. I continued, calm and steady. You have two options. Option 1. I walk away with my intellectual property, my key employees and my major clients. Meditech becomes an empty shell, and you can explain to the board and shareholders why the company's value dropped to zero overnight. Option 2. You and Sarah resign immediately. You surrender your shares at current market value, dropping by the minute, I might add. You sign ironclad non-compete agreements and move far, far away. In return, I won't pursue legal action for corporate espionage and attempted hostile takeover. Marcus's face turned pale. You wouldn't dare, he sputtered. We're family. I laughed. A sharp, humorless sound. Funny. Family only matters to you when you need something from me. You have 1 hour to decide. After that, I start making calls to the SEC about some very interesting financial movements I've noticed since you started attending board meetings. The next hour was a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and barely contained chaos. By noon, I sat alone in my office, staring out over the city skyline. My phone buzzed constantly. Messages from board members suddenly remembering their loyalty, industry leaders offering support, employees pledging commitment. That evening, my mother called, crying. Did it have to end this way? They gave me no choice, I replied softly. They tried to use my sacrifice against me. They forgot that giving away a kidney didn't mean giving away my spine. The fallout was swift and decisive. Marcus and Sarah moved to California, their dreams of a corporate empire reduced to dust. The board members who had backed them resigned quietly, replaced by people who understood the meaning of loyalty. Meditech not only survived, it thrived. Within a year, our market value had doubled. Our healthcare management software expanded internationally, helping millions of patients. The irony wasn't lost on me. The company they thought was weakened by my fragility was revolutionizing healthcare technology. Lessons in loyalty. Sometimes late at night, I trace the scar on my side and think about family, loyalty, and betrayal. I don't regret donating my kidney. Sarah's life was worth saving. But I learned that true strength isn't measured by physical health or corporate titles. It's measured by resilience, by the quiet power of being underestimated and proving everyone wrong. At industry events, I often hear whispers. That's Emily Chin, the one who... They never finish the sentence. They don't have to. My success speaks for itself. Recently, I was invited to give the keynote at a healthcare technology conference. The topic? Resilience and leadership. Finding strength in adversity. I accepted with a smile. After all, I have quite a story to tell. The book. A few weeks ago, Marcus sent me an email, the first contact in 2 years. A rambling apology filled with talk of regret and family bonds. I haven't replied. Some bridges once burned should stay ashes. Mom still hopes for reconciliation. Family is family, she says. But I've learned that true family isn't defined by blood. It's defined by respect, loyalty, and understanding that strength comes in many forms. Now, as I sit in my office watching the sunset, I think about the journey that brought me here. The scar has faded, but the lessons remain. Never underestimate the quiet ones. Never mistake kindness for weakness. And never ever try to steal from someone who gave you their kidney. Meditech continues to grow, but more importantly, I found peace. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying others. It's about rising so high that they're forced to see their own mistakes reflected in your success. On my desk, I keep a photo from the day I left the hospital after the surgery. Marcus and Sarah are smiling, promising eternal gratitude. I don't keep it as a reminder of betrayal. I keep it as proof that the things others try to use against us often become the source of our greatest strength. In the end, they thought my sacrifice made me weak. Instead, it showed me just how strong I really was.